Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening. In the present situation, we are witnessing a very paradoxical, very strange phenomenon. The countries which were deemed to be the bastions of fundamentalism are changing. Saudi Arabia is permitting women to drive without wearing a burqa. Dubai has the biggest gurdwara, and a great Hindu temple is being built in UAE. On the other side, in subcontinent, that's India and Pakistan, a new trend has been visible for a long time. It has been much more visible in Pakistan, but now it's also being witnessed in India. And it's an attempt to superimpose holiness. Can you believe a minister in Karnataka says that azan should be banned because it disturbs the students? These ministers who instigate protests, agitations, use students to further their power, are so concerned that azan, which has been in vogue for about centuries, a few centuries, would now disturb the students. Rather, don't we think that way, that it is a wake-up call. The students can get up in the morning and start studies. How would it disturb them? I am no votary of azan or prayer or mantras and kirtans. No. But if you ban azan, you should ban these jagratas, you should ban the religious processions, you should ban Ram Leela, because the effect of everything is the same. But banning azan alone shows that you want to superimpose your brand of holiness on others. And then comes the news that two mayors in Delhi want meat shops to be closed during Navratri. Now, meat shops have been open in Delhi. I have belonged to Delhi. That's my hometown. From times immemorial, Navratri has been celebrated, and nari have I seen. I'm a meat eater, and I have been eating meat regularly, and I have never seen my vegetarian friends feeling disturbed. As a matter of fact, my vegetarian friends used to accompany me when I would go and buy meat. They had no problem. But then, and the plea taken is that some people have complained to them that they are disturbed with the sight of the meat. If you look at the number of people fasting and number of the meat eaters in Delhi, you will find that the number of people fasting during Navratri is much less than the number of the people eating meat. Secondly, a shop selling meat is not forcing you to look at that. It's just like these male chauvinistic pigs say that women must not dress up because if they dress up provocatively, they are inviting rape. Instead of being able to control themselves, they want to force others to do it. And this is absolutely unacceptable. There are people who object to Valentine's Day, and I have seen and read about it, and you must also have read it, how people have said it's against our religion. Religious fanaticism, narrow-mindedness is terrifying, and to the extent that it is not only terrifying but it's ridiculous and ludicrous. And when I talked of India, I know some people must be getting annoyed that I'm talking of India. Let me tell you, I'm impartial. Pakistan is no better. On March 20, that's 2 weeks about Ramzan, the Federal Minister of Religious Affairs, Nurul Haq Qadri, wrote a letter to the Prime Minister Imran Khan, who works according to what his burqa-clad wife says. And Qadri gave a list of suggestions what should be aired on television during the holy month. It reminds me of the first Information and Broadcasting Minister of India, Keskar. He wanted only Hindu nationalistic songs. And anybody that was derogatory, according to him, was to be banned. So much so that the famous song, Jine Naaz Hai Hind Par Wo Kahan Hai, those who are proud of India, where are they when the women are being exploited, forced into prostitution? So much so that this lyricist was banned from All India Radio. So same is what Qadri did. And this letter brought to me that politicians, whether in India or in Pakistan, are the animals of the same kind. The minister's letter begins with the foundational argument that some regular anchors and presenters do not have proper Islamic education and they can hardly qualify to the host Ramzan programs. As a result, the host's non-religious education, the letter points out, people flock to social media to troll the content and complain to the minister or some other authority. Now, this plea is always taken. Some people complain. How many? Two of their stooges and flatterers and hangers-on? And the latter infers a simple solution to this mess and force a wish list of stipulation that tosses out celebrity hosts. Force a dress code. By the way, I have not seen a single TV program where the women anchors or the male anchors are inappropriately dressed. Then they want to avoid discussion on issues that may bring up controversial aspects of sectarianism and religion. They want to prohibit game shows and recreational stuff. I wonder what's going wrong with them. Recreational stuff is banned. And then especially if it happens before or after Sahari and iftar parties. And then not to have games and such stuff. Now the minister doesn't explain what does stuff mean. The letter advocates the telecast of unethical, immoral staff activities and advertisements. So if I go by the spirit of the letter, the only sanctioned activity during telecast would be promotion of religion and sectarian aspects and propagation of Islamic teachings. And this goes against the concept of what Jinnah thought. But Pakistan is Pakistan, where an important aspect of Pakistan, part of Muslims, are deemed to be non-Muslims, MBRs. And that's why the father of the nuclear energy in Pakistan was not honored. The Nobel Prize winning scientist was not given a proper burial. Now, Ramadan programming in Pakistan is a big business, as meat sellers in Delhi. And what happens in Pakistan is peculiar that no other country in the world basically telecasts that promotion of religious and sectarian harmony and propagation of Islamic thoughts. And since when are we to police the programs unless they are immoral? If they promote prostitution, if they promote exploitation, if they promote slavery, if they promote hate, yes, ban them. But recreational stuff? To be fair enough, Ramadan transmissions have been prone to some excessive rivalry, but that happened only before Zia was there. Zia chastened everybody, and we have seen that that has not happened after since. In the last few years, partly due to COVID, some of the rogue energy has been maintained. And almost flushed to the system by loud, reward-flinging game shows. That's happening in Pakistan. The programs are already in spit, Pakistan. There is a program called Jeeto Pakistan. And the minister says it should not be there at all because it indulges in enlightening, detailed discussion of the topic. And enlightenment is anathema and causes allergy to these propagators of sectarianism and religious freedom. And if you look at it, the transformation checks off every box in religious affairs minister. The only thing it doesn't tick off is one host, Wasim Badami, a political show anchor who, according to the rival networks, transitioned into a competent anchor of the religious broadcast. Why is this happening? This is because there are two reasons. One, these propagators are self-imposed and dictatorial imposing tendencies of religious ideas think that this would win them the votes. That's the most important thing. They are not bothered about the religion per se. And if I was to ask people like these two mayors of Delhi or that minister of Karnataka or Qadri of Pakistan, that have you really read their religions? I happened to meet a very senior minister once. He was a Jansangh leader and he was talking all about Sanatana Dharma. And he had come to meet me in my office. So I asked him, tell me, how many Upanishads have you read? How many Puranas you have read? How many Vedas have you read? Apart from Gayatri Mantra, how many mantras you remember? He had read 0 religious scripture. Gayatri he knew, Aarti he knew, Jai Jagdishari, and barring that, his only qualification to being the spokesman was a tilk and a jinnah. These people are a blot on the name of the religion. Whether it's Islam, Hinduism, or Sikhism. I've seen leaders everywhere, even in Sikhism. The politicians who wanted Khalistan, when they talked to me and I would ask them, taking something out of that, Guru Granth Sahib, they were dumbstruck and then they'll try to evade the issue. So these superimposed attempt at holiness result in two things. One is that the minority community would be terrified. Sikhs wanted to terrify Hindus. Hindus want to terrify Muslims. Muslims want to terrify everybody who is not a Muslim. So, this superimposition of your brand of holiness, and even if it's a universal holiness, it's a vegetarianism, can be a universal thing. Who in the hell authorizes them to decide whether I take meat or not, and which days I take? Already in Delhi, Tuesdays every meat shop is closed because of religious susceptibility. It's okay, I can understand one day in a week. But to close them for 10 days together. Those poor people who work in those shops, I'm not talking about shop owners, I'm talking about people, who would maintain those people for the 10 days, their daily income maintains them and their families. But then these males and the ministers are least concerned with them because they know that their band of rogues who follow them would praise them to the skies and their next election is granted. Unfortunately, this breeds a sense of rivalry, a sense of alienation. And it's not in the interest of even the majority religion, let me tell you. It causes heartburning. Now, does it mean that when they want to ban these dramas in Pakistan, the people would stop watching dramas? The audience for them would not disappear within a month. They'll start using YouTube to watch the old ones. Don't forget it. Once the show remains on the YouTube for the people to revisit when they want, irrespective of the month. In comparison, the Ramzan shows have little or no afterlife once they are aired. So what are they talking about? The non-vegetarians, the meat eaters in Delhi, why should they suffer? Because a small fraction of the people are on fast. Fine, let them be on fast. There's nothing wrong with that. But to force others to observe that is ridiculous. Today, Delhi Jal Board took a decision that the Ramzan short holidays, they were given a leave for 2 hours every day. And that order has been withdrawn. Fine, that's okay. There's no reason why they should be given a special consideration because they're fasting. If you give 2 hours leave to the Muslim, then you have got to they give full day's leave to the Hindus for Navratri as well. And that's ridiculous. As a matter of one thing I like in Canada is that these religious processions take place only on a holiday, not on the working days. That should happen in India and Pakistan as well. Because these religious processions are important for the community. But how much they harass the ordinary people who don't believe in that. Don't forget that your perceptions have got to change. Your narratives and vision has got to change. And until and unless you do that, you are sowing the seeds for disharmony, for division, and for conflict. But some people feel that the politicians want that. When there is a conflict, it gives them oxygen. Conflicts revive them, sustain them. So if they don't want to instigate it directly, they do so indirectly. And this is one thing. Unfortunately, in subcontinent, it's everywhere, but it's more prominent in subcontinent of India and Pakistan. Religious fanaticism is rife. It's rampant. And the result, to hell with the personal liberties, your rights, you become an automaton, follow the orders of the minister whom you have elected. He's supposed to serve you, but he starts dictating you. And they are half-educated idiots. Let's not deny it. It's time that this sort of a persecution ends, that this sort of religious enforcement ends. Let's be enlightened, worthy of living in the 21st century. Thank you.